The questions are so ambiguous. To be very honest, how much ever you have studied.
Every aspirant of PMP is seeking that goal to see that certificate. When you press that button in the exam, congratulations, you are PMP certified. That is the journey everybody wants to look
I
at.
have already got trained. I have already studied. I have already given so many mocks. So I did not want to get into that uncertainty. I wanted to finish up with whatever I had done.
There is a thought coming in their mind. Maybe I'll do it after the exam content changes. What would you advise them?
The mock test there that they are giving you more than 60-70% of the result, they should go and give the exam.
Now that you are PMP certified on this role of your job, are you applying PMP on your daily basis?
Yeah, definitely. I think few things like how a particular manager should be. If you are a servant leader, that really helps your team also to grow.
Correct. That's something which I can relate to because PMP actually changes the lens.
Yeah, and that is more important than only that piece of certificate.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions here. Early morning study sessions or late night study session?
Early morning.
What was your strategy that you put in? Hello everyone and welcome to P3M with add-on skills. I'm your host Mayur. Every PMP success story begins long before the exam. It starts with a decision to invest in yourself, commit to a goal, stay focused, and even when balancing work, family, and countless other responsibilities. Today, we are speaking with someone who has recently completed that journey successfully. I'm delighted to welcome Sachin Kharatmol, who recently earned his PMP certification. In this episode, we'll go behind the result to uncover the real story, the preparation, the challenges, the exam day experience, the lesson learned, and advice Sachin would give aspiring PMP professionals preparing for their own certification journey. So, Sachin, congratulations on becoming PMP certified and welcome to P3M with add on skills.
Thank you so much, Mayur, and thank you for hosting me today here.
It's a pleasure, Sachin. I'm really happy. Thank you for taking the time to come to this podcast. I would like to directly go straight into our conversation. So, before we talk about PMP journey, our listeners would want to know a little bit about your current role and responsibilities at LTI Mindtree.
Okay, yeah, sure. So currently with LTM entry, I'm here since last 5 years, and I'm into data and engineering vertical here,
Okay.
working as a senior manager. Have worked with two different clients so far, and currently I'm heading data and analytics team here with the client. That's it.
Okay, that's really great. So, a little bit more on this, I would want to understand, and our viewers also, Sachin, how has your role evolved all over all these years? How it has really changed. I would say that's the correct word.
So if I have to tell you the role, it's taken from multiple responsibilities over the year. Like back then, if I have to tell you how the data analytics used to work was more on the Excel or very basic tools, SQL
Right.
only. And
Hmm.
over the periods, it has evolved with so many advanced tools, and I kept adapting myself to those tools, to new way of techniques. And then once you have good amount of experience, you definitely need to get into some managerial role. You need to manage people, you need to manage resource, and you need to manage the clients as well. And that is where so many things comes into place, and certifications like PMP also then comes into place, where you think of getting yourself certified with PMP so that you have that ticket into the market for so many other opportunities.
Well said, Sachin. Now, when you talk of PMP, the question comes to me is what aspects of project management do you enjoy most today?
I think the leadership styles that they have taught us, and I think every project manager should have done this certification, because we see many managers are still in that traditional or fixed mindset of managing the projects, and it's really difficult for them to adapt to the new techniques only because the management is asking them to adopt. Rather, they should be trained on PMP, and then they should be given the new way of working like agile or anything new, the way the PMP is teaching. So it is really important to adapt to those new techniques of managing the project.
Oh, that's really wonderfully said, Sachin. I can relate to that because I'm myself PMP certified. And when you say, old techniques, let's say the predictive or the traditional way that you're talking about, or the waterfall way as we say it, right, which is always been there, planned. Now, only when you do PMP, you realize that there is the agile way also, the which you can use. The hybrid way is also there, right? So you have a different lens to look at project management altogether, and you can always shift between these to see that your goal is to deliver the project successfully, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure this would have really opened your eyes when you really came into doing PMP, that this is also there, right? That's wonderful. So Sachin, see, your career spans data analytics, automation, leadership, and now PMP certification. So looking back, initially what attracted you to project management? And when did you realize that it would become an important part of your professional journey?
I think industries have started adapting to these way of techniques more and more, if I
Okay.
have to say. And if industry is adapting to something new, and being a project manager, again, adaptability is a really important trait that every project manager should have. And with that trait, you need to adapt to what is being, what is being implemented in the system in the industry. And what I
Okay.
have seen, like this new way of working, going more agile, changing the way the leadership works. I could see that I was not aware of so many things, and
Hmm.
I should be trained. I should be aware of, and I should grasp that knowledge, and that is where PMP came into my mind.
Okay, that's nice. That's interesting. So with PMP, I want to just understand this: is that project management, was it always a part of your career plan, or did it eventually, evolve with responsibilities as they grew?
Yes, generally it evolves with responsibility only, as I would say, because once you are into managerial role, and the leadership expects you to do certain things in certain way, and those certain way of doing the things is something that you get to learn through these kind of certifications.
Nice, nice. Sachin, my next question to you is that was there some mentor in your, during this journey of yours, specific project experience that influenced you to take up project management? Or, gave you that interest that no, I think I should move in this direction?
Yeah, I would say there were few people from onshore, from whom I started learning like how they were doing things more in agile way, like managing the Jira, managing the ADO board, how they are counting the workload. If I have to tell you the story points and everything, and all those things were very new to me, and I was like, this is not something I have done before. And then I have even the way that leader was taking care of the team with empathy and everything, the servant leadership that showed through the personality of that leader. I thought this is something really different. Then I did later I came to know that it's all the PMP strategies, PMP learnings. And then I thought definitely this way of learning, this way of managing the things should be there, and I should know about it. And then I decided to go for PMP.
So that's really wonderfully said, Sachin. See, you are at a very senior role right now, a senior manager position. So, looking back at your career, so what helped you really progress? Of course, you are now PMP certified. But coming to this, our audience would want to know that journey which catapulted you to being a senior manager, doing PMP, upskilling yourself. What was that motivated you? What was that really pushed you to where you are today?
See, upskilling and getting something new into my portfolio has always been part of my career journey.
Okay.
Last year, I received Best Learners Award from CHRO in LTI Mumbai.
Congrats, congrats.
Yeah,
Arey, very good.
from the entire Mumbai office.
Okay.
So, being flexible and adapting to new technology is something that everyone should consider always, and not sticking to what I know, I will do that only, or I will do this particular thing only, I will not do that particular thing. With that attitude, it becomes difficult to grow. That's what my personal view is. So
Mhm.
being adaptable and flexible is something you should look into.
So I would say the mindset basically, right?
Yeah, mindset
If you are
exactly.
very rigid, then it's hard to
Hard to grow,
really,
I would say.
sorry,
Hard to grow.
hard to grow. Yes, 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 that's correct. So this is a very good advice for aspiring leaders, right,
Yes.
Sachin, who
Yeah.
are at present maybe feeling in a very stuck role, you know, in today's time, especially when AI is predominantly there, right? They have a lot of fears that, maybe they may not last in their present job role, right? So this mindset that you are talking about of growth, avoid being rigid,
Yeah.
right? And trying to adapt, which is most important in today's times.
Correct. Even if you look at the with the implementation of AI, like most of the organization, you will see it is being forced to use AI, and those who do not wish to adopt or do not wish to upskill themselves, they will be automatically out of the systems.
Right.
So it is important to even adapt to these new technologies as well. And it is, the way it is getting implemented is way much faster than any technology in earlier days was implemented.
Yes.
So adaptability becomes more important now with the invention of and implementation of AI.
Yes, yes, I completely agree with that, Sachin. Now that our listeners, have a sense of your background, your career journey, let's talk a little bit about your PMP. Okay, so that I wanted to ask you this is that what made you decide that this is the right time to actually pursue PMP? You could have done PMP maybe 2 years back, 3 years back, 4 years back also, right? But no, I think I should do this now. What was that really made that decision that no, I'm going to pursue PMP?
Okay. So most of the time, what happens when you start working as a project manager and when you start applying outside of your organization for managerial position, I have seen most of the companies have that mandate that you should be a PMP.
Okay.
Either the company will have mandate or their company's clients will have mandate that the new program manager that you are project manager that you are hiring should be a PMP. And that is where when I started applying, I started seeing that this is becoming one obstacle, if I have to say, or that is something that is that skill something I am lacking. Maybe that
Mm-hmm.
I should definitely get that done. Then I started thinking about it. I asked people. Actually, my brother had done it. Few of my
Okay.
friends had done it, and my brother suggested me add-on skills, and that is where then I came in contact with you.
Yes, 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 yes. So this journey of yours for PMP, did you do a lot of research prior to, thinking that yes, I think this skill or this certification is something I need to do? Did you have any assumptions around that? Because there's a lot of talk around PMP where sometimes, when you are really venturing out into the market to see that, okay, I want to do this, is it very tough? Is it my cup of tea? How much time do I need to dedicate to do this? Did any of these questions come in your mind? How did you really go around this to see, no, let me get this done? I have to complete this.
See, these are very known certificates in the market already. PMP is being one of it. And once you are in a particular position, you don't need to really do a lot of research. You come to know, you are able to sense it, like what is the demand in the market, what is the demand in your own project. And definitely you ask other people who have done it. Like I asked my brother and few of my other friends who have done it, and they said obviously it's, I mean, there are different perspectives. Somebody would say it's easy, somebody would say it's very difficult. It is
Yes.
how much you are using in your day-to-day life that decides if it's easy or not.
Right.
When I asked my brother, like he said, you will be able to do it because since he knows me well, and he said you will be able to do it and you should go for it. And how he benefited from the certificate, not for changing the job, but how he started using those strategies in his professional life, and he told me how
Yes.
it has benefited him. So I
Right.
thought then definitely it is going to benefit me, and I thought of going for it.
Okay, that's great. That's great, Sachin. See, I think most of the time when you go and decide that yes, I want to get on the PMP journey. I want to start this learning. Most of the candidates that I have experienced is, of course, there is the, as you rightly said, it is, some say it's easy, some say it's tough, some are not, are unsure. But the starting point comes where one, obviously, when you decide that you want to do this, and two, I think it's the training which kicks in, because until the training, the day one that you start, you really are clueless. There's a lot of material out there to really look through, to read through, right? Good material, bad material, right? But the training is actually what, where it's aligned to the PMI, PMP. You start your training, and now you start understanding and realizing this is actually PM. Was your thoughts on when you initially started training with add-on skills, that first day when you really, the trainer started, the creating a high performance team, those topics being covered? What was going in your mind at that?
Yeah, definitely. I do remember that experience when it started. Like first weekend of those two sessions, I was like, okay, this is exactly what is being done, what is being practiced in my organization. But I am not paying attention to those skills because only because I don't know how much important they are.
Yes, yes, yes.
Keeping that Jira very much updated, whether following that, different methods of calculating your story points. And there are so many things, the way my leader, my manager was managing the things. I was not, giving so much importance to that. But when I attended the first two sessions, I realized how important those things were and how I should give importance to them. So that really, rings a bell in your mind if you are already in such kind of system where things are already being used.
I think, Sachin, what comes to my mind is an eye opener,
Yes, exactly, it is.
and when you say the organization has already been practicing it, it's right in front of you, but
It is
you never saw it.
correct.
Until you did your training, and now of course you are PMP certified, but when you complete your training, this was right there.
Yeah, this was right there, but you did not have that vision of that knowledge that it is
Right, right, vision,
that is
yes.
very much needed.
Correct, correct, correct. Something which I can relate to, because PMP actually changes the lens.
It changes the lens. Yes,
How you see your projects,
yes,
how you manage your projects, how
yeah,
you deliver the projects,
yeah, and
right?
that is more important than only that piece of certificate. The way you look at the things and the way you change uh, the way you are doing the things.
Yes, yes, that's rightly said, Sachin. Let me ask you about, the result of PMP. Okay, now that we know your, a little bit about how your, your roles, responsibilities, your journey to starting the PM, our viewers would be wanting to know that result, because every aspirant of PMP is seeking that goal, to see that certificate, to see that, when you press that button in the exam, congratulations, you are PMP certified.
Actually, yes.
That is the journey everybody wants to look at. So what was your first reaction when you saw that result?
You know what happens, I've heard that from all the PMP aspirants who have got the certification. So when you submit that submit button, the questions are so ambiguous. To be very honest, how much ever you have studied, question will be ambiguous. And but your if you have studied well, your gut feeling will select the right answer, though you will feel that the other answer might be right. And at the end of the exam you will feel like, I don't know, most of the answers I have answered, those were the ambiguous. But eventually if you have really done lot of mocks and everything, and after submitting the button, you might feel that I have not done, even I did feel that I don't think so I'm going to crack it. But when I got the results, and then I was so surprised that okay, that means all what I had selected were my gut feeling, my knowledge, and whatever that I had applied and implemented was. So the gap between submitting that button and getting the result, even your mindset will be in ambiguity whether I'm going to pass or not.
So when you say, I wasn't sure if I would pass or not, so
Yeah.
when was that happening? Was it in that the first 60 questions, the second 60 question, the third last leg of PMP? Was it right from the start that,
No, so this experience is very different for different individuals. I can tell you because
yes.
I did talk to so many of my friends who gave this exam. So some people said they had a really hard time in the first phase. Somebody did couldn't focus on the last phase because it was so much exhausting. And a day before, one of my colleague had given the exam. So he was like, his first phase was really difficult, and last phase he had to run a lot
Okay.
because he had very limited time. And in the middle phase, he started gaining confidence. But
Okay.
with me, how it happened, like in the first phase did give me confidence,
Okay.
and the second phase was something that was breaking my confidence, and the last phase I was again gaining the confidence that okay, I know the things. So it is really different experience for everyone. So you might get difficult questions in the first phase, you might get difficult questions in the last phase.
Okay.
So you shouldn't lose your confidence with that. You
Hmm.
should keep going. If you have studied well, if you know that my answers are good, you shouldn't worry until the last question and submitting the last submit button.
That's I can relate to what you're talking, Sachin, is because during my PMP exam, I think that first leg when you complete and you get that 10 minutes break, did you also talk to yourself when the first leg, say, you had wrong answers, you have questions in your mind that, hey, this is a really really tough exam, did you talk to yourself in those 10 minutes that I have another 120 questions balance, come on Sachin, let me give in that 200%, I don't
So
want to give up right now? Did you have some kind of a self talk when you came for that short break?
yeah, so to be honest, I would again say first, like that, the first break that I took, I was confident more because my first section was really good,
Hmm.
and maybe
Hmm.
I was lucky enough that my first section was good.
Hmm.
Later were difficult.
Okay.
So, and that is something really important that you should gain confidence from the first,
First question. Yeah.
first the entire section of the that 60 questions.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
So that actually boosted my confidence, but that is not the case with everyone because one few of my friends, for them, first section was difficult and the following were easy. So it might be anything, but for me personally, first was easy and then following it was difficult.
Okay. Okay. Yes. The next question out here when you talk about the exam, I can think about is that you're in the exam center. There are sometimes, from many candidates who I have, talked to, they are sometimes late for the exam. It could be because of the travel, right? It could be the weather, right? It could be even the center for that matter, because there are certain checks that take place in the center. You are already under the stress of that you need to give the PMP exam, and finally you are on that seat and you're going to. So from your experience, how do you evaluate this? How do you segregate these external factors that are there and actually focus that, okay, now your exam is released, you are on question number 1. Keep that focus right there to ensure that you move forward. How do you really get that seriousness? You could share that with a little bit on this, because our viewers would want to hear, because many of them, when they go to the exam, they are a little bit under stress, they have so many thoughts on their mind, but then when you sit in front of the computer, get that focus to actually just move through that entire exam. Can you talk a little bit on that, Sachin?
Okay. So first thing about practicing focus is something that you should practice, a month before the exam. Once you book the exam, maybe if you are in office, maybe some people, like I used to do, like book a meeting room and used to practice. I used to go 4 hours before in the office.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we used to do that practice. Like I used to travel from home to office. I have to start my exam at 8, right 8, and I have to finish it by 12. I did
Hmm.
that a month or 2 months before I had started practicing it. I
So
used
you're
to go
basically
to
saying, attempt the mock tests, right? The
attempt the mock
simulation
test.
exams. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the meeting room is a similar environment like the exam center. Okay. So I used to book a particular meeting room. I used to travel to the office at the exact same time that my exam would be. Like it was 8 a.m. My exam was scheduled. So I would do that practice. I would go to office, start my exam at 8, and I would finish at by 12. Sometimes it was not possible to finish it by 12. Sometimes it used to take 1 or 1:30. But I did practice that, so I knew what do I have to do on that day, and my even my body or my your brain is accustomed to that feeling, that environment, and everything.
Right. Yes. 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 That's very true. See, you we have add-on skills has got the simulator mocks for PMP, right?
Yes.
Now you have actually simulated the real examination. Where you
Yes.
went to your meeting room, the time that you had allocated 8 a.m. You actually went at that time to
Yeah.
sit down
Yeah.
and do. So
Yeah.
not everybody thinks from this angle, Sachin.
Yeah, so actually, I used add-ons mock test only. So I did give around 10 tests. So after 7 tests, then I asked you, my 7 tests are, then you told
Yes,
me you can continue to give it. I did
yes,
not know it. Then I continued to give it and I gave around 10 tests. So
yes.
it was like more than 40, not 40 hours, I would say 60, 70 hours I spent on those mock tests. And it took definitely, it took like more than 4 to 5 months to, give those tests.
And
So,
let me ask you this, Sachin. Did it help you? My advice, where I told you you have done one set of seven, do as many as you can. Did
yeah,
that
yeah.
really work out for you? Help
Yeah,
you?
yeah, that really helps. I would say, once you start giving the mock test, you know what happens? Most of the time we think that I will finish my entire studies, then only I will start with the mock test.
Yes.
Most of the student try to be perfect. Like I don't want to fail in mock, even
Correct.
in the mock. And
Correct.
I what I would try to do is I would try to finish my studies. I would try to finish my studies, and to be that perfectionist, you waste a lot of your time because right from starting the mock is something where you actually start studying. Otherwise, whatever you have studied is very limited, 10% of what actually PMP is. But when you start giving mock, that is where your actual study starts.
Well said, Sachin. Because see, the mocks actually test you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Now here, many of the RPMP students, as you rightly said, they do it in the very end.
Yeah, that
And
should not be done.
I completely agree with you. Is that's not the right approach, because you start with the mocks because the mocks actually evaluate your preparation, and that preparation is where, for example, in a mock you are at 50%, and now here in that 50% you can review the wrong answers, and now you can actually know if you're in the domain, process, people, business environment where you are actually needing that preparation or that gap is there, so you can go back to that preparation, prepare yourself, and come back doing another mock. So this approach actually takes you forward, rather than, as you said, many of them want to become perfect, where I will do all the reading, all the learning, and then attempt the mocks.
It doesn't work.
So when did you realize this? I want to ask you, in on your I mean, for everybody in PMP, it's that let me finish reading the guide, the PMB, okay, let me go through the training. When was yours, that you decided to take this strategy? Okay, now it's time, I need to test myself.
Yeah, so I used to read, and as you progress, you forget the thing. See, you have left your academic years way back 10, 15 years,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it may be, and you are not very much accustomed to studying. And what you study, you tend to forget because those are concepts and so many things. But once you start doing the mock, then you realize it is not about knowing or remembering those concepts, it's all about implementing them.
Right,
I
right.
was studying. I used to forget the things, and I was like, "Ki, this is not going to work." If I think that I was in the college days. I have to remember the entire textbook, and then I have to attend for the exam. This is not. It is going to work. I should just go and test myself how much I know. And then when I started giving the mock, initially when I started giving the mock, I used to do, I used to pause it. I used to check answers on ChatGPT and other platforms to see my answer is correct or not. And that is where I started gaining a confidence of how the mindset should be for the exam or for the
Okay,
PMP certification. And
okay.
that is where I realized, okay, now I should definitely give mocks because without mocks, I cannot go back to those concepts, those learnings to understand what is important, what is not important.
Hmm.
So it is really important that you start with the mock, where how much ever you have studied, not studied, start with the mocks. That will give you more teaching than any of the studies that you are doing from the textbook or from any material that you.
So Sachin, my follow-up question to you is, you said yes, we are, we are not students in college and school where our daily job is learning. You're in that motion where you are moving, going to school, coming, learning, opening books. Now that we are working professionals, it's hard to go back to studying.
Yeah.
right? And also there is a dedicated time that you can allocate. No organization is going to give you 2 or 3 months of break and tell you, hey Sachin, you can take this break because you're doing PMP. So we have to work around this to see and ensure that our to upskill, that study plan needs to be going forth, right? So now with the break of my question to you is, with the break of studies, we are not students, we are working professionals. How do you factor in this now, where you have to upskill yourself, you need to learn, right? So how is it that you manage this with work and also your professional life?
See, definitely you have to sacrifice lot of other things. If you have to, everybody has said that you have to achieve something, you have to sacrifice. So you may have to sacrifice, your weekends. So like I am really, avid gym goer.
Okay.
I do exercise every day. I don't skip my exercise.
Lovely.
So it used to happen that I had to skip my exercise. Like I go to exercise every day, 5 days, 6 days a week.
Okay.
But during this entire phase, I used to miss two sessions, 3 sessions of my exercise in a week because I was preparing, I was giving mocks, I was attending sessions, and all those things. So you have to prioritize this over other things. Then only it will work
Yes, yes, I know. I agree with you because sacrifices is definitely there. You make that sacrifice. Even your family makes that sacrifice, right? Because
a lot.
you need to have a dedicated room to sit and study. When you come from work, you know that okay, I need to give in that 1 hour. That entertainment, or that being with your family needs to be sacrificed. You need to seclude yourself, segregate yourself, and sit down and focus on that preparation. So there is a lot of giving from not only your end, from
Yes.
everybody around you.
Definitely. Your family plays a really important role here for something like this that you are doing because because these studies demands your lot of time and being like the most of the aspirants you will see are married, they have family, they have kids, parents responsibility or whatever it is, and they have to deprioritize so many other things to prioritize this. See, this is a short term priority that you have to give. So definitely you can prioritize this over other things. All the other priorities that you have, those are the long term priorities. So you may need to adjust that to get this on the top of your priority and get that done during that short period of time, whatever that you have decided.
Nice, nice. So Sachin, let me move to the next segment of this podcast and ask you this: is that now you are PMP certified? Who did you inform this news to? For immediately after you came out of the center, who was the very first person you called
Yeah.
and said,
So
"Hey, I'm PMP"?
you know what? My wife used to tell me that I am taking over a lot of your home chores only because you have to study, and I am doing it. So better you pass. So I had to tell her first thing. Okay, now I will continue to do my homework at home because I have passed the exam. So definitely her lot of her efforts, lot of even her sacrifices were there because I was not helping her out in so many things that you generally do at home. So I had to tell her first, obviously. She was part of the entire journey. So I told her. Then I told my other colleagues who were part of my journey that yes, I did pass. And then so on you announce it
Yes.
on the LinkedIn that happens.
So how was that that excitement when I mean, she we just talked about sacrifices, right? We talked about challenging phase also because you had to leave your workout, right, for PMP preparation. So she knows that, your better half knows that. So when you called her down from the center and said, you better pass, that's okay, but you called her and said, I am now PMP, what was her words and that excitement and your tone of excitement? Could you talk
She
a
was
little bit
more
on that?
confident than me that I would pass. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Okay.
Maybe she was praying more than me for it. So definitely she knew it, and she was confident that I would pass. And when I told her, she was like, "Yeah, I knew it. You would do it. You will crack it."
That's really nice. That's really nice, Sachin. Let me also ask you something here. That was there a time where this, after you passed your PMP, as you said, your wife was more confident that you would pass, right? That thing ever struck you after you got the result that I am going to pass this, or I have passed this now? Was there that feeling that am I really passed? Was it surreal? I mean, that is this really true? Did you feel something like that?
Yeah, as I said earlier also, after you submit the submit button, after you click the submit button, you really don't feel that you have really chosen all the right answers, and you feel that I don't know what is going to happen.
Right.
I have not heard anyone who is saying after clicking the submit button I was confident that I would pass this exam. Everybody has said that
Yes. Yes.
I don't think so I'm going to crack it. But once
Correct.
you get the result, then you realize, okay, whatever I did, whatever I studied, whatever I've chosen as an answer were the correct answers. So that feeling is always there, that you never, I mean, it was in my case, I don't know about others, but most of the people I have talked, all of them have said, you never get confidence that, yes, all my answers were good. But if you have studied well, they will be correct, and you will pass the exam.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Sachin, my question to you is that we talked about your preparation, the exam, how you did the simulation. I want to just touch upon that by, your technique or study habit, because lot of questions come around this where PMP aspirants are actually confused. Okay. They are sacrificing, they are having a study plan maybe early hours of the day, they are having a study plan maybe in the evening after they come from office, or as you said, weekends were where you sacrificed your exercise also, right? What is the most efficient way now that you're PMP certified, right? You know where and how you can actually work around this with your work. What would you advise PMP aspirants who are on this journey to tackle this?
One advice that I used to always get from my trainer Dheeraj Lade, that after we ended the entire training program, he said go and book the exam for so and so day. He also gave us the day, and most of us underestimated that advice. Even I did. I took a lot of time to go and book. Then Kailash sir insisted me to go and book the test. You will do it. And then I booked the test. And once you book that test, automatically you get that seriousness to study. You don't need to tell yourself, you don't need to prioritize, deprioritize. Automatically that prioritization also comes. So that step is really important, that you go and book the test. If you think you can crack it within a month, go and book it for within a month. Or if you think you should take 2 months, go and book it like after 2 months or whatever date it is. But you should book that test, then only you get that seriousness, and you prioritize those things, and then you plan to do all the things accordingly, according to the exam, whether it is a sacrifice, whether it is studying, whether it is giving mock and everything. So booking the test is really really important step.
Yes, yes, I agree with that, because I think it's not only because you're invested now in the PMP, right? It also, puts a date on the calendar.
Exactly.
You have a goal,
You have a
right?
goal, correct.
You know that, okay, let's assume 28th July, I'm going to give my exam,
Yes, exactly.
And when you talk of seriousness, Sachin, that psychologically keeps coming in your mind. 28th is when I am going to give my. So you are moving forward to that goal. There is no other way to turn around, turn back, or move that goal forward. So as you said, Kailash sir told, no, you have to book it,
Yeah,
and that's where okay, now the time goes down. The meter starts. You are moving towards that, and here you then start taking those steps that you never did, because time goes by, the calendar will move, those dates will go, right?
exactly.
So, did you know that, prior to your giving your exam, I would want to ask you this also, it connects to this question, is that the exam, the PMP, the exam is changing from July 9th onwards. Was that also on your mind that, prior to booking the exam, that, okay, let me do it later on, or let me do it now, or how was that? What did you think about this? What was
No.
your,
Yeah.
your views?
Yeah, so I took training in the month of June 2025, and June I took training, and July, August I started giving mock tests, and I started improving my mindset, and I came to know that the portion is going to change in the month of July. And through some personal, challenges and all, I couldn't do it like in the month of, sorry, in the year of 2025. And in the year of 2026, I started giving more tests and started realizing that I should now go ahead and book it for this version of the test only, because it is going to change. And I have already got trained, I have already studied, I have already given so many mock, and I should give it in this version only. Again, delaying it and going for the next version, if it is going to be uncertainty, definitely. Whatever I knew, whether it is easy or difficult, those were the certain things. But about the new version of the exam, those were uncertain what it is going to be, whether they are going to allow us for the previous version of the students who have enrolled to give the test with the previous version or not. So I did not want to get into that uncertainty. I wanted to finish up with whatever I had done. So I
Okay.
thought I will go with this version only, and I will not jump into the next version. And I decided to give it in the month of April, but again I delayed, and eventually I booked it in the month of May, so that if something, God forbid, something happens, then I still have 1 or 2 months to give the reattempt. But in first attempt only I was able to crack it.
That's great. That's great, Sachin. Congrats on that once again. Many viewers of us who are still contemplating to, give the exam, okay,
Yeah.
on the present content. The
Yes.
9th, it's changing of July. What would your advice be to them? Of course, there's 15 odd days remaining, 20 days remaining now. They have done their preparation, they have done their mocks, okay, and there is a thought coming in their mind. Maybe I'll do it on the next, on the after the exam content changes. What would you advise them? Go for it, take the exam date,
Yeah.
and give your exam. What is your advice?
I think they should evaluate themselves based on the mock tests that they have given. If they think that the mock test that they are giving you more than 60-70% of the result, then I would say they should go and give the exam. If they think they are not confident through the mock test, that is not giving them the 60-70% of the result, and then they can think of moving to the next version of the exam.
Right. That's valuable advice, Sachin. I want to ask you about the, you have the online and offline mode to give the exam. A lot of questions come around that also to me, where they ask whether, I should visit the center, right, the Pearson VUE center, or should I do it online? So, what is your take on this? How should a candidate actually, make that decision, formal decision, in whether, okay, this is the best suited option for me, or should I go for the online option?
So for the offline options, I think it's a little bit risky, because there are so many things involved, so many rules and policies are there
Hmm.
through which you have to go when it comes to offline, and you have to make sure those policies rules are enforced as an individual. But when you go to the exam center, it is responsibility of that center. So it is not your risk, it is their risk to make sure that those policies, those rules are enforced, and students are so the candidate is sitting in front of that computer and giving the exam. So I would not take that risk giving the exam offline
From home.
from home. I would go to center and give it, because there you have the environment, you don't have any risk, you don't have any uncertainty, you don't have any disturbance, and any which ways there is no charge if you give it there or offline at home. So better you go there. If you are able to travel and give it, go and give it on the center only.
Yes, yes, I agree. I'm sensing when you're saying this, that seriousness comes when you go to the center. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. It does come. Seriousness comes when you sit there. Before, when they give you briefing, might be before the exam, your heartbeats might shoot up little bit, but you just have to calm down, and you just have to accept whatever the result it is going to be, and I am going to accept it. You shouldn't go with the mindset, oh, I have to pass only, then only things will work, and like that. Don't pressurize yourself on passing the exam. Just give your best, so that will give you a really calm sense of mind to attempt the exam.
Great, great. So, Sachin, how was your experience around the the exam center? Did you visit the center prior to see how it is, or because I've heard from many PMP aspirants who they go one day prior to the exam center, they visit the center, they want to see where it is, they talk to the people there, right? Did you have something like that? Did you do something, or you went directly the day of the exam? How was that experience for you?
Okay. So ideally, I would, advise to go to exam center 1 or 2 days advance to see where it is and how you are going to travel it. But for me, I did not do that because I knew the location very well. Because in Mumbai, they would keep it at a very famous locations that
Right.
most of the people would be able to easily travel. So it was at a very easy accessible location for me to travel. And since I had taken exam time at 8 a.m. in the morning, and in Mumbai, early morning on the weekends, you don't have any traffic. You can be certain about it. And then I was very confident that I will reach by this so and so time. So I reached
Right.
exam center like 45 minutes before. That was planned as per plan. And I did not have to go there before, but I would definitely advise that you should go and see your location.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Now, I want to move to this question where a little bit on the exam part. Our viewers would want to know. We all know that the exam is almost 4 hours, right? It's a long exam, and you need to keep that focus, right?
Yes.
So, during this, the first leg, the second leg, the third leg of the exam, you did come across difficult questions,
Yeah.
scenario questions. So,
Yeah.
what was your strategy that you put in to ensure that you completed the PMP exam in the right amount of time? Okay. And how did you move along this? How did you see that? Okay, I need to ensure that I complete this and not get, deviated from my focus, move away from my focus.
Yeah. So actually, like few days before, I had a discussion with you. I had a discussion with Kailas sir as well. You advised me few things. Kailas sir also advised me few things to divide the number of questions with the total time that is given to you. And based on that time, you should finish the first 60 questions by 70 or 75 minutes, maximum 80 minutes. That was the strategy, and I followed that strategy very religiously. I mean, I was lucky enough to have good question that I could crack in the first leg of the exam. So I followed those strategy. And one more strategy is that if you get the difficult question and if you keep reading it again and again and again, that is going to waste a lot of your time. Either you book it for later, or just go with your gut feeling and move ahead, because there are going to be so many easy questions for you, and trust me, there are going to be till the end of your exam. So don't get stuck with those difficult questions. Just move ahead with your best knowledge and gut feeling. You will get the better easier ones, or the ones you could easily crack.
Sachin, that's valuable advice that you're giving. That's a very good strategy, I would say, because pondering over a scenario question which is taking you more than 1.5, 2 minutes, right?
Correct.
Now here you're jeopardizing the easy questions that are going to come down the line
And there
for
will
that
be.
for that one question.
Yeah.
And you rightly said, park the question.
Yeah.
That's a strategy because, and that's something our viewers, I want them to listen to this from you, because that strategy, when you apply in the PMP exam, you can actually move forward and prioritize the time. And when you come to the end, you can actually go back to these spark questions and utilize that additional time that you have.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So that's something. How did you think on, see, when you're really looking at the scenario questions, you want to hit the right answer, but then marking it later, how was that? Was it easy for you to really do it, or no, you said, no, I need to move forward, I will take care of this question later?
So I would say it depends on which leg is easy, which leg is difficult.
Right.
For the easier ones, you will be able to go back and again reread the question and make the changes. But out of the three, there will be one of the part which will be difficult, wherein you may not be able to mark it for later. So go with your gut feeling and move ahead. So
Okay.
even that strategy works, or pick the best answer that you think. don't read it so many times. Read it to 1 or 2 times and pick the best answer. I would say read answers more than the questions, because and after you read the answers, you have the mindset and you choose the best answer.
Right.
Maybe sometimes question confuses you more than the answers. So best answers, you know what should be the best answer, but question might confuse you. So choose the best. If you are less time and you think you cannot read the question again and again, read the answers, read the last line of the questions, and choose the best. That really works well.
Yes, yes, that's correct. See, I'll tell you a little bit about what I did during my PMP is that, when I read the question and looked at the answer to decipher the right answer, during that kind of strategy or the preparation that I was doing, I was not scoring really well. So I had to actually introspect to see what was really wrong. Was it really the preparation where I had the gap in, or I was not able to really decipher or understand the question itself. And you have that 1 minute, right? That time that you have to really go through, and you have to do it really fast. So I was in a dilemma where I couldn't really understand, what's happening. So my strategy here was that I read the question, immediately went through the options and went back to the question. So this helped me where sometimes you miss the keywords that are there in the question. And you might think the first time when you read the answer A is the right answer. But when you read the question the second time, you actually realize now, no, A is close to the answer, but B is actually the right answer.
Yes, yes.
So that improved my scores in PMP. It really drastically helped me to move forward and also eliminated the gap that I had, that it was actually preparation. Maybe I need to prepare more. But it was not. It was how I'm reading the question and actually evaluating the answers. So that was something which I did in my PMP. So I want to now just move from this to ask you something on project management. Okay, so now that you are PMP certified on this role of your job, are you applying PMP on your daily basis? Anything immediately that in your projects that you have, are working on now that you are putting that, learning into perspective? Your managers know that you are PMP. Talk a little bit on that, Sachin.
Yeah, definitely. I think few things like how a particular manager should be, what is the PMP mindset, different strategies, different principles of management and the PMP, that I have started understanding, using it in my day-to-day life. That is a servant leadership, being available for your team, for your people, helping them out rather than directing them or being authoritarian yeah, leader. If you are a servant leader, that really helps, that really reduces the conflicts, and that really helps your team also to grow. So those things are really important. And even as a part of the process, if I have to talk you, then again, how you how you do the estimations. You now you have so many different, you have learned so many different strategies of how you estimate the task, how you estimate the efforts. You start using them, and then that really changes the how your process is moving ahead. So the all those things really help if you have started implementing in your day-to-day work.
So here, I want to ask you. See, you are a project manager, PMP certified. What separates a good project manager from a great project manager? What is the segregation? Anything you can highlight or give us some
Yeah, I think
insight on?
one thing that PMP principle says, that people over process. you know so you have to prioritize people, and you have to prioritize being empathizing with the people. Empathy is given really really more importance in this training. And I
Yes.
think that plays a really important role to be a great leader from a good leader.
That's really insightful distinction, Sachin. I really loved that because the generic answer usually for PMP would be leadership, communication, right? But you actually touched upon servant leadership, right? Empathy, right? So, very, we learned about this in PMP, but not highlighted a lot. It's
Yeah, PMP,
usually,
I would say empathy is very underrated trait of a leader. Maybe because how it has been done throughout the traditional ways, they give more importance to either success or profit. Obviously, yes, that is important. But from the start of the project, if you have shown the empathy, then even you will get it in reciprocation from your team.
That's true. That's true. Sachin, I want to ask you about AI. You know, everybody is talking about AI. We use AI in being efficient in productivity in today's times, right? And we talked a little bit about this during the start of this podcast also. So my question to you is that will AI impact the role of project managers over the next few years? What is your take on this? What
Think
do you think?
Yeah, I think any new technology do impact how things are managed, and AI being very much revolutionary, as I said earlier, one has to be flexible and adaptable to be adapting to that new way of working
Mhm.
and implement that in their own way of working. Then I don't think so there is any problem. But if you are running away from this new revolution, then it is going to be a problem.
Anything, any on tasks for project managers you think would get automated? Anything that comes to your mind right away that you could share with us?
So if I have to tell you, for a product manager, if you are a product manager, the creating right from creating entire backlog to feature, story points, stories, task, and everything, all that thing is really being done with the AI now. Earlier, a product manager would sit and write the entire backlog. Now a product manager can give epic, and from that epic or from that objective your AI can drill down to the task level. So it has really helped to product manager or BAs to write that entire functional document, requirement document. All those documentation work is all that is writing up work is getting easier with the AI.
Yes, yes. Well said, Sachin. I want to also just ask you this is that, see, now that you've achieved your PMP certification, you continue to be a leader in the profession. What is your next professional journey now? You know, after this PMP, what are your plans?
Yes, definitely. I want to become AI more and more AI enabled manager,
Okay.
because I think to survive, it is going to be really really important that you become an AI enabled resource. Whether it's you are a fresh resource or a mid level or the senior, someone who is in the senior position, it's important that you have that AI enablement in your process.
Yes, yes. You have to move with times, correct?
Yeah, you have to move with times. You have to move with the process. You have to move with that new revolution that is coming in the picture.
Yes, that's really well said. Any certifications you're planning to do now that you're PMP? Anything from PMI or outside PMI that you have in the horizon?
So there are few free certifications on PMP PMI side only that I have done. I have done few certifications, like every other organization have their own certifications, AI enablement certifications that is going on, and
Mm-hmm.
I did a few of them. And I've also heard there is a CPMAI, but
Yes,
I've not done a lot of research on it. But I think even PMI have come up
yes,
with the certification that is called CPMAI.
yes, yes. They do have CPMEI. Are you thinking or planning to do that?
I have not yet thought of doing it because recently I have come out of a lot of studies, so I am not getting into it so soon.
So that's great, Sachin, that you're planning to do CPMAI. Yes, PMI does have that, and you can definitely have that in your bucket list to complete very soon. So now that we are approaching the end of this podcast, I have something special for our audience, which I call it the rapid fire round. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions here, and you have to just quickly answer these questions. So let's go. So my question to you is: early morning study sessions or late night study sessions? What is your answer?
In the morning.
Sorry, early morning. Okay. Favorite PMP resource?
Your own notes that you have jotted down from the training.
Wow, nice. One leadership trait every project manager must have.
Empathy.
Most overrated PMP study advice.
Those formulas and concepts. I did not get any of them, but few students do get. But that's hardly 5 to 10 questions, maybe maximum.
Most underrated PMP advice.
That you have to book the test.
Fabulous, fantastic. You handled all these questions excellent. Very well, Sachin. Now let me ask you this for all our listeners out over here, they would want to connect with you. So what's the best way they can reach you for advice, for mentoring? Are you open to that? And if so, how they can reach you?
Yes, definitely. I am open to that. They can search me on LinkedIn. It's Sachin Kharatmol, SACHIN KHARATMOL. And now since I am PMP, I have also added PMP to my name. So you can find Sachin Kharatmol PMP on the LinkedIn.
That's sweet, Sachin. We'll make sure to add your LinkedIn profile link in the description box. Okay, so that our viewers can connect with you and directly you could also help them. So, Sachin, thank you once again for joining us. We have come to the end of this podcast. I would love to talk to you even more, but there is a time constraint, right? So, we have to wrap this up. It's been a pleasure to host you, to talk to you, to learn from you. A lot of learning, servant leadership, empathy. It was really wonderful having this conversation on this podcast with you. And I'm sure our listeners also, would have gained valuable insights, the practical tips that you have given. And I think most importantly, the confidence that you shared, on how the strategy of the exam is there, how you
Yes.
approach PMP,
Yeah.
your certification journey starting, how that can really work for PMP aspirants. So I really thank you for spending time today with us, and I hope that our viewers find this podcast really insightful and inspiring. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to follow us on P3M with add-on skills. Do like our channel, subscribe to our channel, comment on the videos. Please do comment on what other type of conversations podcasts you want to hear from us so we can bring that content to you. So I'm Mayur signing off here. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep leading with purpose. Thank you, Sachin. Take
So thank
care. I wish you all the best of luck and success.
you.